And also if you're producing at 4, most probably there's no particular chart, and I can just type it. If you are producing 4, you might only produce 8. Yeah, you might produce 8 capital goods. That's what we can see here, and that's what we are understanding. So as I said that produce showing two things in a curve is what is a production possibility curve, and this particular curve is a concave curve. So most probably in exams you will get only a concave curve, not a linear curve. Anyway, guys, so moving on to the point. Now I'm going to show you a few curves which you all need to know when you are doing it in exam. So I'm going to draw. I don't know how much it's going to be correct. So I'm going to go with one by one. So let me start with the first one. So I'll start with so these are the curves you need to know. So I'll start with economic growth. Let me draw one by one, guys. Though it takes a lot of time, it's okay. It's okay. We are learning things. So on our basic first day, we need to know how to draw these curves, and we should be very specific on drawing this curve. So economic growth will have two lines like this, and you will have a two arrow going this way. So this happened due to few reasons. One is economic growth. So I'm going to give reasons. This is what we say. This is also known as shift to the right. Why this particular thing happened in a economy? So now this is not happening inside the economy. It's happening outside the economy, which means the economy is growing better. So I'll write here capital goods and consumer goods. So I'll write consumer goods and capital goods as here. So let's see what are the why normally economic goes into this. One is economic growth. Second thing we can say it as increase in productivity. The country is producing more than what they can produce. Increase in technology. So better technology, we can also say. Good harvest also can be another reason. In a country, they expected some harvest, but this time the harvest was good. Skilled employees can be another reason. Skilled employees can do less mistakes and they can produce more. And also we can say skilled employees, good harvest, increase in technology, increase in product. As I can remember, these are things you need to take it down. So let me move on to the next part. If I remember something, I will always come back and explain you. Even if I miss something on your first tute, I will come back and explain you on the second tute. So don't worry, second video. So now this is going to be the second part. Shift to the left. Someone draw a curve inside. Right. I'm not good in drawing. I'm using my laptop curve. These curves are not should not be crooked. It should be in a proper straight line when you're taking. Don't draw like me. It's very ugly. So draw it in a correct way and show the curves are going inside. So here I'll write again consumer good. Then I'll write capital good. Don't write simple terms when you're doing it in exams. Write always the full term where you get marks. So here we say as shift to the left. Is just that. So what are the reasons why it is shift to the left? I'm going to take few reasons. One is economic decline. The country is falling down for a long term. Economic recession and economic decline is different. Economic decline is the country is falling down for a lot of reasons, and they will not give you in your first chapter on your textbook. That's why I'm drawing this, because these are not given on the textbook but tested in your exam. So we need to know these particular terms. Economic decline is the first term. Second term we can also say it as destruction of resources, or you can say exploitation of resources. You use it in a bad way, you will lose your resources what you have. And third thing, war, crimes, strikes. These all reasons can be another major reasons why the economy is falling down. Lower productivity. Okay. Then I remember one more thing. So here I can say immigrants. Yeah, immigrants increasing. So if people are coming from different country to our country's resources are increasing, that's a good thing. So if people are leaving the country, that's not good. Employees leaving to another country, or immigrants increasing, which is not a good sign of the country's resource. And then also you can say that bad harvest as another reason. So these are a few things which I remember, and also poor technology. We can say deterioration of technology. or you can say poor technology or bad technology. So I always use a bit good terms because that keeps me motivated to do best in our class. Anyway, so deterioration of technology. So we learn the shift to the right and shift to the left. So these are the few things you need to know when it comes to this particular thing. If you have taken this down, it's okay. Now we'll move on to the next part. So I'm going to clear this out because I know that this is a particular thing. So if I have deleted, the reason I want you guys to go back and then take the chart. So I'm going to teach you the next part, which is going to be economic decline is done, economic resources done. So we are going to learn the next part. Few things. I'll teach you the third thing, which you all need to know, is about opportunity cost curve. Okay, so I'm going to show you how opportunity cost curve work. So now these are all production possibility curve. You need to remember. So I'm going to take the line. I'm not good in drawing this, man. Okay, so I'm going to take some lines. Okay, so here to here. When you are at here, right here. When you're at here, you're at here. I'll take one more line to make it nice and beautiful. Okay, and when you're here, you're at here. So I'm not good in drawing, so don't worry, guys. Anyway, so I do something which I felt like it is a good curve. So here I'll write consumer good. Okay. Here I'll write capital goods. Now, what you need to know when it comes to opportunity cost, how do you know how this is opportunity cost? When you gain something, you are losing something. That's what is opportunity cost. So you know the meaning of opportunity cost. The next best alternative foregone. So I'm going to take here 15. Then I'm going to take here 12. And I'm going to take here 5. Okay. I know my curve is crooked, so I'll use it in a way where you can understand. So when you're at 15, you are producing at 5. When you're at 12, you're producing at 12. When you are at 5, you are producing at 15. Okay. So I'm going to take that here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show that consumer good is decreasing. So we're going to reduce the level of consumer good. So I'm going to reduce from 15 to 5. And I'm going to increase, yeah, 15 to 5. Let me change these numbers. So let me take it 10, 24, and 30. Because I don't want to get the same answers. So here I will be drawing, you can see, from 10 to 30. So I'm losing from 15 to 5. So there's a formula to calculate this opportunity cost. How do you calculate opportunity cost? Opportunity is equal foregone divided by gain. Again, you can ask, so this is not in the textbook. Come on, guys, we are learning as a tuition, so we need to learn outside the box because that's where we need to be concerned about scoring it in exam. So foregone is going to be 15 minus 15 to 5 is going to be the 10 difference. So this particular difference is what they are saying, from 15 to 5 is minus 5. So I'm going to write here minus 5. Okay, minus 10, I'm sorry, because you're losing 10 and here you are gaining plus 20. So foregone is going to be minus 10 from consumer goods and gain is going to be 20. So it's going to be minus 0.5. So what you're losing is always the opportunity cost. That's what you're getting, a minus figure. So I hope you guys understood opportunity cost. Take this down. Let's move on to the next part of curves now. So I'm going to erase this off. I'll have to erase it as soon as possible. So if you wanted to, you just can stop and learn the things. Opportunity cost is done. So then we did the shifts to the right and the shift to the left. So what are we going to learn now? The scarcity, the unattainable resource, and then the unemployment resources, which I feel a bit important for y'all. You need to know these curves. Again, these are not in your textbook. So moving on to the point, but they are in the exam paper. Awesome, right? Okay. So here I'm going to write a small u. Okay. Or I'm going to write it as r. Here I'm going to take it as s. Here I'm going to take it as x. So I'm going to name these as a few things. But before that, I want to name this product. So I'll write consumer goods and capital goods in a country. So now what is this U and R? Remember, U is representing unemployment. R is representing recession. Now what is unemployment and recession? Let me explain you. So first thing I want to explain you is about unemployment. So when I say unemployment, Most of the people think that people who don't have jobs is known as unemployment. Student, remember one thing, you are learning economics, so you need to learn the terms properly. So when I say unemployment, I'm speaking about two things. One is unemployed people. Second thing I'm speaking about unemployed resources. So you need to be concerned about this particular thing. If you do not know this particular thing, learn it now. And the next thing, the second thing is about recession. So what is recession? This is a short fall of your economy. So when your economy falls for a shorter period, when it comes from here, you always show recession as a down arrow like this. In your exam, they will give you a certain mark like that, a down arrow. If they give a down arrow, I'll use a different color to draw that. If they give a down arrow, most probably you need to know that is a recession they are speaking about. Unemployed resources is also like a down arrow they will show. Most of the time they will use the term like you can use it as recession or unemployment. But always remember when you have a down arrow, it's a recession. So what is a recession? I'll give a small meaning for you here. A slower downfall of the economy. Okay, easy as that. Then we have this particular point X. This we say it as attainable resources. So what is attainable resource? You have maximally achieved, and that is awesome. Or you also another term you can say efficient utilization of resources. So the economy has maximally used the resources properly. At that moment, this will happen. Attainable resources and efficient utilization of resources. And the next thing which I am showing it as is going to be, what do we say? Now you would have predicted it. If you all have already learned in your school, it's okay. If you are not learned, then it's not okay. You are going to learn now. So S is going to be scarcity. What the hell on earth? I'm writing and it's not writing. Scarcity. And we said as unattainable resources. Guys, if my spelling is wrong, it's okay. Okay, don't worry. Don't comment on this video. The spellings are wrong. We can't understand. Oh, come on, man. Make me motivated. Study the entire 42 videos with me and learn this particular chapter and make economics easy. And love economics. Breathe economics. Consume economics. Okay. So now we have learned consumer goods and capital goods. Done, dusted. So let's move on to the next part of the video. So I have taught you the entire production possibility curves, and I hope you guys love this. So most probably I have planned to update in two videos the chapter one, because this is a very lengthy video which students will feel a bit uncomfortable. If the video is very big, they'll feel like the person has taught a lot of things and we should not learn from him, which I don't want you to guys to do that. So we'll see which we already spoke. At point A, 16 million units of consumer goods are produced at zero capital goods. At point D, 8 million units of capital goods can be produced at zero consumer good. At point B, a combination of 40 million units of consumer goods and 4 million units of capital goods can be produced. So these things are, which is shown here, you can see. And then a point C, a combination of 8 million units of consumer goods and 7 million units of capital goods can be produced, which I said this point at point E. Okay, and then the final thing, the combination of goods represented, sorry, at point F, a combination of 8 million units of consumer goods and 4 million units of capital goods can be produced. So they are saying if you are going to produce at F, you are going to produce it 8 million and 4 million capital goods. I hope you can see my cursor. Anyway, moving on to the point. So then we have, at this point, not all resources in the country are being used. There are unemployed resources because point F is inside the PPC. A country should aim to push production so that it is on the PPC. Point A, B, C, and D resources are fully employed. So if you are producing it in a country, either you should produce at this point A, B, not even E, because E goes outside C and D. So at this point, only the country is doing it great. So I would recommend to go with B or C, because it is, completing in both ways somewhat similar. That is good for our economy. But EF is not the proper way of doing the country or taking the country into a proper manner. And you can see here what they have given. The combination of goods represented by point E is not possible. This is because it's outside the PPC. The country does not have the resources to produce 12 million units of consumer goods and 7 million units of capital goods. So if they are producing at 12, it's not practically they can't achieve 7. They can only produce at 8 million goods. They can produce it at 7. So this is not practically correct. That's what they're trying to mean. So anyway, I have already explained you this particular thing. So let's move on to the next part. What happens when an economy moves from one point to another? Which I already explained, but anyway, I'll read it again. For example, when what happens if the economy in figure 1.6 moves to from B to C? So if it is going from B to C, then of course, what they are going to lose here, they will be gaining from here to here. Now, because B to C means here at this point they were producing 14 million. So B to C they fall 6 million and they will be gaining to 7 million. So most probably it was 4 million earlier, now to 7 million. So they are gaining 3 million, they are losing 6 million. That's what they are trying to show. So here is that what they are going to say. By moving along the PPC, an opportunity cost is incurred. At point B, 40 million units of consumer goods are being produced and 4 million units of capital goods. By moving to C, the production of capital goods rises to 7 million units, but production of consumer goods falls to 8 million units. To gain another 3 million units of capital goods, 6 million units of consumer goods are being sacrificed. The lost production of consumer goods, 6 million, is the opportunity cost. This is what I was explaining all this time. So what they're trying to say is from here, it is 14 million. So if you are going to move from B to C, okay, what are you going to lose? You are going to bring your consumer good from 14 to 8. So losing 6 minus 6 million you're losing. So what are you gaining here? You are gaining from B was at 4 million. So 4 here it is 7 million at C point. You can see at C point it's 7 million. So 4 to 7 you're gaining 3 million. So they are saying that if you are going to gain 3 million of capital goods, you're losing 6 million of consumer goods. So what is the opportunity cost? 6 million of consumer goods, because that is the thing which you are losing. That's what I'm trying to explain you. Anyway, so moving on to the point. The choice between the different combination of consumer goods and capital goods is an important one for a country. If a country produces more capital goods, it will probably be able to produce more consumer goods in future. This is because capital goods are used to produce consumer goods. However, by doing so, there will be fewer consumer goods today, and some people will have less in short term. So they're saying that capital good is better than consumer goods because capital good is bringing more consumer goods in future. But they're saying that if you produce less consumer goods now, people will not have enough goods to consume for themselves. There'll be scarcity again. So you should be trying to use your resources between the capital good and consumer goods properly in order to avoid the basic economic problems. So cause of positive and negative economic growth. So let's see, this is what I explained you. Shift to the right and shift to the left. So they have given here. Let's move on to the last particular part of this chapter. At a particular point in time, a country cannot produce combination of goods that lie to the right of the PBC. However, over a long period of time, an economy would expect to raise the production of all goods. This is called economic growth. There are several reasons for this. So we learned about this, like shift to the right happens a different way. And they're also saying economic growth also depends on these few ways. The first one they have given new technology. As time passes, new technologies develop and this benefit businesses. For example, new machines such as robots, computers, telecommunication, and the internet have been used by the businesses to help increase productive potential. New technology is usually faster and more reliable in production, therefore more output can be produced. In simple terms, you bring new technology, you can produce it in a faster. If you're working in a slower computer, the work we are going to do is going to be less. But compared to a faster computer will make your work much easier and much faster. Improved efficiency says that over time resources are used to more efficiently. New production methods such as Kaizen, continuous improvement, and lean production using fewer resources in production, for example, have been developed and adapted. These more efficient methods replace the old ones, and more output can be produced with fewer resources. Kaizen techniques means you are always improving. So Kaizen says that there are different production methods you will be learning in business studies textbook, but then you need to know in economics textbook what they are saying. Kaizen techniques is about continuous improvement. For example, today I teach in YouTube certain past papers. On next class, I'm trying to teach you the textbook also. That's a continuous improvement. Every time you come to my YouTube channel, I'm trying to show improvement of a significant increase of quality. And every time I come to YouTube, I try to give it something better and better and better. That's what we say continuous improvement. So that way you can increase the efficiency. Efficiency means minimizing the resources wastage. So or you can say maximizing the usage of resource. Anyway, you can consider. So in that way, you can produce more. So that will also make shift to the right as an economic growth. Education and training, an economy can boost the productive potential of a nation by educating and training the population. A country's economy becomes more productive as a proportion of educated workers increases. This because educated workers can more efficiently carry out tasks that require reading and writing, analysis, evaluation, communication, and critical thinking. However, a country has to find the right balance between academic and vocational education. So you need to know that if you have good education and training in a country, then of course it will increase and boost your population. That will give a chance for the country to develop a higher economic growth. So anyway, so they are given few things. Proportion part of the number of amount considered in relation to the whole. Vocational training that teaches you the skills you need to do a particular job. For example, if you love to learn commerce with Mac, how to do YouTube channel and get subscribers and get monetized, follow the channel. That's what I want to say. So that's vocational training. I'm giving you a skill, learning. Learning the skill easily is also a part of training. So anyway, moving on to the next part. If you find out new resource which I missed on the particular shift to the right, if you have missed it, go to the new resources here. I think I missed it on the whiteboard. I erased it. No. So anyway, so we have missed it. So here, under shift to the right, also try to write, guys. If you are not written, I think you have not written. 7th point, discovery of resources. So if you discover new resources, like some countries find new resources that enable them to produce more. For example, in recent years, the USA has raised productive potential by producing more oil through fracking. Fracking involves shooting a mixture of mostly water and sand under high pressure against rock until it fractures or breaks. The sand fills the fracture, forcing oil out of the rock formation. Fracking now provides the USA with around 50% of its oil needs. This is up from just 2% in 2000. So almost you can see that the country has done a great thing by use of new way of fracking. They are able to get the resource what they want. So in countries can produce more, the PPC will shift outwards. This is shown in 1.7 PPC. Represents an original PPC, while PPC2 shows a new PPC resulting in improved efficiency. For example, combination of goods not previously possibly can now be enjoyed to generate economic growth. In this way, a government needs to ensure that investment levels are adequate. Economic growth is discussed in more detail in chapter number 25. So you can see that consumer goods and capital goods, consumer good has improved and it has produced as much as possible to a certain extent. Consumer good has increased, capital good has increased. This is due to shift to the right, which I already explained, and the few reasons which we already learned now on the above chart. Finally, it is possible for the PPC to shift inwards. This would represent negative economic growth, which I already say shift to the left. That is where country's productive potential actually falls. It may be caused by resource depletion, which I forgot to say again, the 7th point, resource depletion. Take this down, guys, in your writing book as 7th point. Resource depletion, where a country runs out of a natural resource such as oil or coal, the productive potential of a country also be reduced by weather patterns, which I forgot again to take it. So 8th point can be weather patterns, bad weather, bad harvest. I said so that can be considered as bad weather. For example, dry weather might prevent some nations from meeting their agricultural production target. Economic growth in a particular country might also be negative if large numbers of highly qualified, skilled, and experienced workers move overseas. This might happen if these workers could earn more money employed in another country. Wars, conflict, and natural disasters might also result in economic growth, which already we have spoken. Anyway, let's move on to the choice question. Which of the following question is associated with the basic economic problem? When to produce, who should to produce, what to produce, where should production be located? Of course, you know the answer. C. Answer is C is the answer. Number one. Then the second thing, which of the following might be considered as a need rather than a want? So you need to consider which is better when it comes to need rather than a want. What is the need? What is a want? So you can see shelter, holiday, smartphone, pet dog. So shelter becomes a need. They're asking shelter as a need. So you should be able to show what is the exact need than a want. That's what they're trying to say. Anyway, so moving on to the next part we have. So you have production possibility curves they are given. A country is able to produce agriculture and non-agricultural goods. It is currently at point X on the production possibility curve as shown in figure 1.8. Describe what production possibility curve is. Use this case as an example in your answer. So point X is about attainable resource. So this is achievable point. And this is an opportunity cost curve which they are trying to make. According to PPC, the decision makers in the country must make what key choice? They need to know, do they need to produce agricultural products or non-agricultural products? That choice they need to make. Why is point T on the diagram currently unobtainable? Because the resources are limited and the resources are in scarce. The country is considering a movement from X to Y. What will be the opportunity cost of such a movement? So if they are going to move to X to Y, what they're asking what would happen. So you should be able to show. So here I can consider it as 18 or 17 most probably. So if they are going to reduce from 17 to 15, they are going to gain for non-agricultural goods. So you can say that losing two agricultural goods will be able to enhance or increase the 4 million non-agricultural goods. That's what they are trying to ask. They didn't ask the exact opportunity cost. Using a diagram, consider the effect that the discovery of fresh oil reserves might have on the peoples of the country. The country will grow to a great extent, and which will shift to the right the curve of the PPC curve. That's what they are trying to ask. Anyway, so we'll see you guys on another video. Economic assumption, let me work on it soon as possible. If you like this class, follow me and follow me and follow me. So my target of these videos, to be honest, I need to reach 5,000 subscribers. So help me out, share to your friends. If I reach 5,000 subscribers, I will give a lot of help for you all, and I will teach you a lot of things in future. See you guys on part 2, which is economic. I mean, I don't know, part 3 or part 2. So most probably I have planned to do it in part 3, because I'm dividing the first chapter into 2 parts. So part 1 and part 2, you might be watching the part 2 now. Part 3, I'll be doing economic assumption chapter number 2. See you guys soon as possible. Have a nice day.